Um, yes. So I still struggle a little bit with like um, I think it's called making connections, but it's the little conversations and chats that you have, like, when you start following new people and you're like looking for through their feed for something to comment on that maybe you have in common. And I think part of it's maybe just learning myself and doing it at the right point of the day, because I feel like it takes a lot of energy for me to be like, okay, what do we have in common that's something that I can genuinely comment on and not be like, I don't know. I'm just bad with small talk, I want to jump straight into it and be like, hey, you like health and fitness? Great, me too. You should do this because it's amazing. But I'm not so good with the little chit chat here and there, like dancing around that. So
I'm not either. I don't like it, so I don't do it.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, that helps. That just knowing that I'm not the only one. But
well, I guess I'll say
well, can I say something really fast? Like,
yeah.
I think it's less of like chit chat and dancing around. That's effective. I think it's more listening. Like that's really what I've learned and what I try to teach my team is like listen. Like if they say something, like I'm so bad to be like, okay, let's get you signed up. But instead, it's like, oh gosh, like I've just had this conversation with a girl and she's telling me about all these struggles. Instead of me being like, I have the total solution for you. Like I respond to what she says and then I go on, get excited and say that. Does that make sense, Jessica? Like, it's hard because you're typing and you're not in front of somebody usually. Whereas like if I was having a conversation with Abby and she's like, oh my gosh, we've moved 6 times, like, I'll be yada, yada, yada. I would be like, ooh, that sounds tough, right? So I have to type that. I have to type that and then start typing about the other. And I find that's very effective for me, just responding to something that they said and then moving on.
I also because I'm not a small talk person, but I feel like it's disingenuous if I'm like having all these forced, it feels awkward to me, small talk conversations with the DMs, because that's not how I am. So I have learned, because I did that and it didn't feel good, even though it wasn't any like sales, anything. It just was like, I just have learned to like, if the conversation dies off a little bit, like I just let it go. And then I come back to it. Like if we're just chatting and I was like, hey, thanks for following me. Why are you following me? And you're like, oh, I have one here. I'm like, oh, that's so fun, baby stuff. And then maybe there's just like a natural point where it's kind of like, it's, there's not a natural transition to like join my boot camp, but you're watching my stories later on that week. I'll just shoot you a message and be like, hey girl, how's Clarity doing this week? And just like kind of re-engage the conversation, but not feel like I'm having to like drag them on constantly. And if that makes sense. So I'll let them go and then I'll come back to them if they're still watching. And I feel like that then is more normal feeling to me.
Okay. So I guess one of the things that did answer my question, but instead of just like conversations where you're like in the chat, is like that initial, when you first start following somebody, out to them.
So I will like do things, Rachel's super good at this too, so you should jump in. But I'll usually, if they start following me, I'll, ask them like, hey, why are you following me? How can I serve you better? But I just go find something, like if they have stories up, that's the easiest one. Like I'll just respond right to the story and be like, where did you get that like little dress? Like I've been looking for one like that for Paisley. Or that looks so fun. Like I wish we had a lake here that was not like filled with clay. Or like looked great. Like I'll just find something genuine to comment. But again, if it feels forced and awkward, I'm not gonna just keep it going. So I don't know, Rachel, if you have anything. I feel like you're better at this than I am, honestly.
I just like, I show interest in people a lot. I genuinely am interested. I don't love small talk, but like, I just love to ask people questions about themselves, and learn about other people. And I haven't always, so it's not like I brought that into coaching. But it's so cool to connect with women all over the place. And I think that going into conversations like that, like you're about to start a conversation, and not just having that, yes, we're connecting so that we can get these women plugged into our groups. But when I shifted and I said, you know what, my mission is to serve women, whether it's just here on my squares, like an Instagram, or through my boot camps. Like I go into conversations telling myself like this woman is important to me. And even if she doesn't join my boot camps, I want her to know she's important to me. And that shifts my mindset and also makes me really a lot more authentic and like people relate to me and they know like, because I'm going to invite everybody I talk to my challenge group at some point or to coaching. Like I am going to do that. But I know that even if she says no, I'm still going to say, okay, totally cool. Change your mind. I'm here. I may ask you again, but if not, it's an honor. It's a privilege to be able to encourage you here on Instagram. So yeah.
Yeah, I think
is
just finding
that
those
even
little,
like what you asked? I don't know. I think that.
yeah, I think just those little connection points, and I feel like you have so many unique things. Like I know about like you're a new mama, you are super like great at finding natural solutions. Like there's so many fun things that you have to connect with people on that I think are unique that your followers are going to do that too. So I think, and I will tell you, I had to learn how to be social on social media because I was this close to deleting Facebook. Like I wasn't active on social media before becoming a coach. So I learned how to use it for sales. And I've almost had to go back and retrain myself just how to be like a normal person on it, which I know sounds absurd, but to like just be genuine, because that's not how I made relationships before. So, okay, let's jump in. That was a good transition. Erin, I see you have your hand raised. Did you have a question?
I did, but it was basically answered. It was
Oh, good.
kind of just about you know, the authenticity of it and not feeling like I'm going to be just selling something, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I kind of feel like I am timid in that way, like I don't want to be pushy or come
Yeah.
off as fake
Yeah.
or like I'm just trying to get them to benefit me. And I mean, I've already found ways that I think is easier to connect with them. Like instead of texting or messaging, I've been sending voice clips.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
seems to help a lot because I can get their personality from it and, you know, their tone and kind
Mhm.
of display what I want to through that. But at the same time, I've kind of received like a lot of pushback from my family. It's really strange. Like I thought that they would be really supportive, but they're actually the ones that are the most judgmental I've found. And I didn't know if anyone else had like experienced that.
Yeah. Rachel's nodding her head too. Yeah, I would say like my brother-in-law has like made super snarky posts about anti Beachbody specifically stuff, and I'm like, dang, dude, like, excited to see you next week for barbecue. Like, and I just have had to let it go. And here's what I always come back to is I think with stuff like that and this business, the longer you guys are in it, the more you guys are going to see. It's like 90% mindset and 10%, I mean, action too, but so much of what we do, like, and Rachel and I still struggle that like we will shoot each other a message and be like, I'm struggling today. Like I have all the feelings of inadequacy. Like we guys as elite coaches, 5 and 6 years in, we still struggle with like, but here's what I always come back to is I don't ever feel salesy. And if you guys watch, if you haven't yet, please go back and listen to Ashley Molstad's talk that she did at Summit. I thought it was really, really good. And she talked about, she's like, do I make sales? Yes. Do I ever feel like I'm selling challenge packs? No. Like I am here to help women and this solution is going to help them. I know it can. And I'm bringing them that opportunity. So I think if you are just stand tall and proud in what you do, and you know that you are leading with authenticity, that you know why you're doing it. It's not to be smarmy or salesy, like your heart. That comes through, and we can't control what other people think about us, and we can't control what they do. But I can control how I present it and how I run my business. And so like I think my mom is still confused about what I do. My sister is a little bit like they're not 100% like I think they just don't get it, honestly. But I'm like this is what I like. I just keep going. So I think if you're authentic and what you're genuinely excited about comes through too. Like that never comes across as salesy. So you won't see me promote certain programs, or even like I never drink creatine, so I don't talk about it on my stories, and I don't use Recharge at night, so I never share that. And because that would be salesy if I did. Like I use what I use and I share about what I love. I don't know if Rachel, if you have any thoughts. I feel like you're
I've never had like really a lot of negativity from my family, but a lot of them don't do what I do, you know, honestly. My sister drank shakes for a while, but my family doesn't really honestly do what I do. So, and that's okay. That's okay. I think that, you know, I like this and I don't like it, but I've always heard people say like other people's opinions aren't going to build my business, right? So I know what we do works. Like I am living proof of it every single day. And I know that a woman out there needs to hear my story. And I know that if somebody does what we're doing, they're going to be healthy, right? So that's what fuels my work and my business. So yeah, I'm sorry that that is the case where you've had some negativity. I think that you always have to remember it's not about you and it's about them. Like, because we know that, you know, negative people are insecure with something about themselves and it's not you. So,
Yeah. Okay, let's jump into, so I have some slides and we are going to talk through conversation. So we shared last week about social media. Rachel just did a phenomenal call for you guys on that. And we've been kind of talking about some how-tos in our new coach group. If you haven't watched those, like how to add followers and how to do a post and things like that along those lines. But right now we are going to jump in and talk more about the actual conversation. And so I actually did not make these slides. Our friend Jess Carey, who's just kick butt, she did they and they're so good. I asked her if I could have them because it was just literally the best. So one of the things, first of all, is you can have like your social media. It matters. The social media you're doing, your storytelling, it really matters. But if you don't know how to actually close the sale, it's pointless, right? We need them to actually purchase to do all of the things that they tell us they want to do, whether they want to get healthy or feel better or whatever. You can sit and inspire people all day long, but if they just sit on their butt and watch your stories all day and are not actually going and learning and doing, it does not do anything for them. And so this one is one I'm super passionate about because I think so many times I have coaches start and they're like, I don't want to be salesy. And guys, we have to first of all get out of our head that sales is a dirty word. It is not. Everything is, guys, doctors make sales, teachers make sales. Everything is a sale, and that doesn't mean it's negative. I think we have this connotation in our minds that sales has to be icky and it's pushy and it's sleazy, and that is not true, okay? There is nothing wrong to get paid for what you do. And so you have to remove that out of your head because we know that none of you guys are approaching this from a salesy way. When people come to us, they are desperate. Think of how much vulnerability, honestly, it takes to say, I need help, right? When someone actually is at the point where they're like, yeah, I'm ready, they have probably exhausted all their options. They are probably confused. If they knew what they needed, if they knew exactly how to get results, they would already be doing it. And so whether it's a matter of actual lack of knowledge, Rachel, I am recording. I should be. Let me stop sharing my screen here really quick. Yep, we're good. I was like, now I had a moment of panic. Yeah. They are ready to go. And so if they already knew what they needed and they knew exactly how to find the motivation and support, they would do it, okay? So we need to help them make a decision and get the tools that they need because we know, again, like Rachel just said, if they show up and use them, they will work, okay? So stop feeling bad about making a sale, okay? They need it. And I can go back to thinking through, I was a total cold invite to a challenge group from a girl in a month. She literally messaged me out of the blue. I didn't even know her. And she invited me to try 21 Day Fix. I said yes instantly. I was probably the dream challenge pack sign up. But what she didn't know is I had spent 4 months after having my son and working full time, going back when he was 6 weeks old, trying to figure out what to do. And I was so overwhelmed. I was Pinteresting random workouts. I couldn't figure out meal planning with a baby. And like, I was so overwhelmed. I had exhausted all the options. And so when she said, hey, I have a really simple plan. You're going to do 30-minute workouts. We're going to talk nutrition. I was like, sign me up. I need this. And so you don't know where they are at. So these are kind of the pillars. Content, okay? They all lead together. You have to create content like Rachel was talking about last week in social media that creates conversation. So these are your stories and your posts, okay? These are you sharing your results. These are you showing the behind the scenes of what you have to offer, all of the things that you guys know to do. And you have to be consistent with it, guys. You cannot post once and expect people to knock down your door and fill out your form and just decide that you're the answer to all their problems. For most people, it takes 10 to 15 touch points, meaning visuals, conversations, videos, things like that, for them to actually feel like they get to know you. And if they're a cold market person, meaning they don't know you in real life, it will probably take them somewhere between 3 to 6 months if you show up every day. So they have to get to know you. And what I always think about with the consistency piece is it's demonstrating the kind of coach that I'm going to be. If I suddenly go MIA for 3 days, now there's something wrong with going camping or, like things like that. Like, we're not asking you to be slaves to your phone, but have consistency in what you do. That earns trust. And I will tell you that when I show up when life hits, that earns even more trust. Then we're going to connect with those people like we were just talking about. We're going to connect, open the door, invite them in. Start those conversations. Thank them for watching your stuff. Thank them for engaging on your posts. Ask how you can serve them better. And then when the conversation turns to health and fitness, that's what we're going to really talk about today, is the sales thing. So do not word vomit. When they ask for more info, when you're like, hey, would you like more details on what I do? You guys are not going to word vomit for 7 paragraphs about what a boot camp is or a challenge group or Shakeology, okay? This is not you hiding information from them, nothing like that, but they don't know what they need most likely, okay? So you need to find out before you make a recommendation. It's not a one-size-fits-all thing. And yeah, when we set them up with a challenge pack, they get access to everything, but you're here to serve them individually. And so you want to find out what it is, what it is that you struggle with. And I'm going to give you those questions in a minute here. Start the interview process. So you're going to peel back the layers kind of like an onion and ask them the questions to get to the heart of their issue, their pain point, so that you can really say, perfect, here's how I can serve you best. The person who asks the questions controls the conversation. And I know as a new coach, sometimes you may not feel like you're an expert or that you have all the answers yet, and that's okay. But you are going to be the one initiating and leading because they are coming to you for help. So you are the boss. And you have to be confident. Guys, it is an amazing value what we have. If you actually just go look and compare prices with stuff, $160 for a year of resources, I think it ends up being about, like, I'm trying to remember, $8 a month. You can do the math, but like, it's insanely cheap for what they get for an entire year. So be confident in that. You do not control their bank account. There are people that I never invited because I was nervous that they didn't have the money, and then they ended up signing up with someone else, or when they did jump in with me, they bought like a deluxe challenge pack. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, don't make the decision for them. You be confident in the value that we have. So when we start these conversations, you are first going to just get to know them. So when someone says, yeah, I want more info, or can you tell me the cost or something like that? I'm like, perfect. Let's chat a little bit so I can figure out the best tools for you. I'll totally get you all the info. What piques your interest? What are your goals? I want to know what they're looking for and why they want it. And I also really want to know what their individual goals are. Okay, so someone wanting to tone up is very different than someone who needs to lose 100 pounds, right? Those conversations are very different. A girl who's wanting to gain muscle is very different from a new mom postpartum who's just trying to find her sanity again. So we need to tailor it to them. Then I ask, what types of exercise do you typically like? What do you hate? How much time do you have? Do you have anything you have to be careful of or avoid? This is not when you recommend a program, you're just still asking the question. So usually they'll say something back like, oh, I have really bad knees, and I'm just making notes of that. I hate cardio. Like, I'm just getting to know them because we have so many options for them. Again, I don't want to recommend insanity to someone who really should be doing bar blend. Okay. So what piques your interest? What are you looking to accomplish? What types of exercise do you like? How is your nutrition? This is a big one. This is usually where most people struggle. What does a day of eating look like for you? I want to just not have them say, oh, it's fine. I want to hear them tell me, I eat Pop-Tarts for breakfast, or I really struggle. I skip meals and I don't know, we're going out, I think I'm eating healthy. I'm grabbing a chicken salad at McDonald's for dinner every night. Like, you want to hear how many times per week do you eat out is a huge one too, because this is where we can save them money. That one's huge. And so again, I'm not recommending things. We're just filing that away for later. Do you struggle with cravings? Again, not the time to talk about Shakeology, guys. It's not the time to make recommendations. You're asking questions, but you want to know, do they really struggle with a sweet tooth? Do they really struggle with not getting enough nutrients? Like what are they satiating those cravings with? What has worked well for you in the past and what hasn't worked as well? I want a bigger picture of their strengths and their struggles. If there's someone who's really thrived well with a daily check-in, or they've really struggled with certain type formats, that helps me again be able to serve them better as a client and get to know them. So you're just still asking more questions. If you knew you couldn't fail, what would your ultimate goal be? This is huge, guys, because you want them to verbalize back to you what they want. So many times, especially I think with women, I don't know about guys probably, but with women, there is so much insecurity and personal struggle tied up in body image and health and fitness and weight specifically. They've probably tried Slim Fast or have DVDs collecting dust on their shelf or feel like a failure. There's so much tied into this that's bigger than just like, oh, I want to get healthy. So if we can help them verbalize, I would be walking down the aisle feeling so confident in that wedding dress, excited to go on my honeymoon. Or I would be the mom at the park who can put on shorts and chase her kid around without running out of breath. I had a mom tell me, and it totally made me tear up. She's like, I would love to be able to fit down the slide so I could slide with my daughter. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like those things matter. And for them to be able to say that out loud, that allows us to dig deep into their why and help them come back to it when things get hard. And I ask them why they want to get started now versus waiting. And I have them tell me that, okay? So now I know what their nutrition is like. I know kind of a little bit of their past history, what they enjoy, what their struggles are. And we've really peeled back the layers. Your job, like Rachel said earlier, is more listening. It's less talking. It is not about us. We are here to serve them. And our job is to help them come to their own conclusions and then build the bridges between what they're telling us they want and need and what they're saying. So this process, it is a process. It's not, sometimes it takes a little bit, but it builds the trust where they know that they care about you or you care about them, right? It builds that, and that your investment, their investment into their health is going to be worth it. So now that we have those questions, we are going to make a recommendation. You do not send them to Beachbody, your Team Beachbody account, guys. Do not give them their link. It's confusing. Again, they don't know specifically what they need, and you will lose them on the site. They're just going to go poking around random places, okay? So it is your time to make a strong recommendation and say, perfect. Based on what you're telling me, I think that Muscle Burns Fat is going to be perfect for you. It's 30 minutes or under a day. You're going to blast that fat, but it's something that you can totally do with your kids running around you. Like, you're going to tailor it to them. You can send them the sample workout. You can give them a video. Assume the yes. And this is something that I did all the time. I worked in university sales, guys, selling a $40,000 a year school. And I would always assume the yes. Big positive words. You are absolutely going to accomplish that. When you sign up, not if you sign up, when you sign up, you are going to get both of our nutrition programs for free. You are going to love them. You are going to we'll just start you with Bar Blend. And then after that, we're going to, it's those kinds of future casting of where they're going to be. Do not squirm, guys. What you believe becomes reality. You have to stand confident in what you have. Is Beachbody the solution to the world's problems? No, it's not. But it is for a heck of a lot of people, really helping them. And so you have to be confident. And if you start squirming, if they don't think that you're like, oh yeah, and it's $160. No, be like, it is only $160. It is amazing, okay? So be confident in what you have to offer. Be confident in the value that we have, and be sincere. They're probably scared. They're probably struggling with some kind of fear, and we can all relate to that. So be gentle with them and help them kind of combat those things. Maybe they failed everything they've tried before, or maybe they're just super insecure because I had a girl whose husband used to make comments when she would work out. And those are things that are hard, but they're not things you can't overcome. So we need to help them see that and listen to where they are at too. Now you are going to get objections. That's part of sales, guys. This does not mean you're a bad coach. This does not mean they're not going to sign up, okay? So know that you're going to get them. People will say no to you, and you're going to live to tell about it. If they say no, That's the worst that can happen, guys. It's not like they're going to come hunt you down, okay? So stop being afraid of the no. And very often, I would say a solid, and I mean, I think Rachel would probably back me up on this, a solid 50% or more of people who tell me no end up coming around later, because I haven't gone anywhere and they're still struggling and I'm still sharing the results that my girls are getting. And so just, if they say no, be gracious. It's another opportunity to figure out maybe why they felt that way. I have some people who tell me no because they can't afford it before I've even gotten to the cost. And so I'll always say something like, hey, totally fine. You know, I completely get, when we started, I was, you know, we had just bought a house and had a baby and I was totally broke. I haven't actually told you the price yet. Would you like me to let you know the options so that you can file it away for later when, you know, maybe things are a little less tight for you guys? And the girl was like, sure. And I had one girl who signed up that day because she thought it was going to be like $500 or something like that. And she's like, oh, I could do 160. So you just never know where people are at. So peel back those layers a little bit. Maybe they still have misconception. Don't argue. I don't ever argue and bash other products. I don't argue about why their shake is worse than mine. You know, I don't get into it. I use my story and the story of the people that I work with. I use the feel, felt, found option. This is not my time to get in debates. This is not the time to argue with them about why Isagenix sucks or something like that. Like, I don't go there. I just stand behind my story and where I was when I started and how I feel now and how I got to that solution. If you've said no, you planted a seed and they're still going to watch you. And because you're going to be consistent, like we talked about, they're going to see you and they might come back around later. And detach yourself from the outcome. I think this is the biggest thing that new coaches struggle with is, and I think Rachel would say the same with this. Like I mean, do I get hurt sometimes when people say no? Yeah. But I have so many new coaches quit. I have customers say no and disappear. And honestly, like, it doesn't get to me anymore because it's not about me. It's about them. It's about serving them. And maybe this wasn't what they needed, or maybe this wasn't the right time for them, but I'm just going to still be here and it's not my outcome. I'm just here to help them. And so stop getting so tied up in the fact that someone said no or ghosts you, and that means in your head you're a bad coach and you need to stop doing everything you're doing because that one person said no. Just stop it. Just stop it. It's not about you. It's about them. So you just keep doing what you're doing, okay? And when you start having those conversations, when you start taking yourself out of the equation and getting to know them, you are going to start hearing more yeses because you're going to be sincere and you're going to be proactive and you're going to get to know them and make those recommendations for them. I feel like I just talked a lot. I think that's the end of my slides. Rachel, do you have anything to add to that, or do you guys have questions on anything? You can pull up. Jen's raising her hand. Perfect. Unmute yourself, girlfriend.
So when you start to have the conversations, when you ask them all those questions, what do you find is the best way to have that conversation over, like, what platform? Just because I can imagine asking those questions in like a online conversation like this, but I feel like that's a lot of questions. Like, ask one question and they type it back, ask another question, type it back. Like, how are you doing that?
I do one question at a time. I don't give them a list. I literally, and if they don't respond, I will wait. And if I'm like, hey, and they're still not responding like a day or two, I give them grace. And like, my kids go crazy and they respond to text. Yeah. But like, I'll just be like, hey, I would love to be able to help you with that. Can you let me know what your goals are again? So we can, like, I will follow up with them, because in my mind, if they're not willing to tell me a basic thing about themselves, people love talking about themselves. And if they're not willing to do that, then they're probably not ready. And so if the conversation, like, I will check in and follow up, but it's almost like a good barrier point. Like, if they're not even going to tell me what their goal is, then they're really not ready to show up for themselves, because they don't even know why. So I will send one at a time. And you could do it I would say wherever you're having the conversation is where you should have the conversation.
But one question at a time instead of writing like 3 questions at a time and waiting for a response.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I just put in our new coach Facebook page, I just put some screenshots of a conversation that I had just this morning. And I do the same thing. It's one question at a time. Like, I even sent a question and she was responding pretty quickly, but I sent a question and she didn't respond back for a while. And I just typed back. I was like, I'm just going to wait for you to answer that question and then we'll move forward, because like, like Abby said, if they're not even going to have a conversation about it, then they're probably not really serious. But I did post some pictures with examples of exactly what we're telling you guys today. So it just takes practice. Like, honestly, you are going to have a lot of conversations, and you're going to have to figure out what works best for you. But obviously, Abby and I are very successful at conversations. So do take our advice, but definitely make it your own.
I was going to say, like, a lot of times people will be like, yeah, does it cost anything? That's the very first thing they ask is like, yeah. And I'll say, yeah, there is, like, you totally have an investment. It's honestly like, it saved us so much money. It's great. Before I share all that with you, because I would love to be able to make sure it is a good fit for you though first. And so I don't shy away from talking about the cost at all, but if they push me on it, I really come back to, I want to know you first. Because when I tell them the cost, I break it down for them, and I'm like, like when it's time to make a recommendation, be like, awesome, Jen, I'm so excited. I think you're going to love, Bar Blend. It's going to be perfect for you. For $160, you are going to get, so I do not say, we're going to get you set up with a challenge pack for $160. They don't know what the heck a challenge pack is. And that could be a lot of money for something they don't know. So I'm going to say, you are going to get, and I'll break it down for them and tie it back to what they told me. I know you said you really struggle with cravings and emotional eating, so I'm so excited to get 2D Mindset. This is going to be a tool you have for life that is going to help you conquer those things. You're going to work with a nutritionist. You're going to have Shakeology. That's going to totally help you with that afternoon sweet tooth craving where you go and eat all the Oreos in the pantry like you told me. Like, so even when I get to the point where I'm breaking down the cost for them, it comes back to what they told me they needed, instead of just saying, right, here's $160, please sign up. So I don't know. Rachel, do you have anything to add to that? Like anything? I feel like, yeah, I'll share those Canvas slides, Jess. I will totally share the link to them. People have those.
No, I don't. Like we tell you guys a lot. You have to expect that like 1 out of every 10 people you invite is going to say yes, and you want 3 people every month. So just be having those conversations. Like I know I have a lot of women on my team who like they share their tracker every week, and they're not really getting signups. So like, I think it just comes down to conversations and how you're having these conversations. And I am very, like Abby said, I just talk to everybody. Like, I just know you're going to sign up. Like, you're going to love it when you get signed up, but we are having the same objections that you guys are. It's just that we have figured out how to handle them. So like, I think it would be awesome if you guys would share like some conversations that you're having, or like conversations you need help converting, or objections that you've got that you need help with. Like, let us help you right now.
Are you guys running into stuff?
You can type if you need to.
Suzanne.
Sorry, I'm eating my lunch. It's like my first meal today.
I was gonna,
breakfast. It's like 10:30 here. So. Suzanne, go for it.
I was going to ask, like, in a conversation with this one girl, she is possibly going through a divorce with her husband, and in the midst of that, she wants to get fit and feel better about herself. And so we've like this strung out conversation. She's an acquaintance. And so like if I asked her, she posted something about this puppy that she's going to get. And I just asked her about the puppy, and she's commenting there. And then now my screen's not letting me scroll back. But just having conversations, natural conversations, and then popping in there like, hey, I know she bought 3 Shakeology packets for me. I just sold them for $10 so that she could try. And then she didn't, her first was cafe shake, the latte. She didn't like, and then the last time I heard, she hadn't tried the others. And so it's like, hey, how were those others? And then she's silent about the fitness conversation, but then she responds about, you know, the puppies or the how's her husband situation or whatever. So like, it's kind of like she's ignoring that.
I would be really direct with her and say, hey, are we still planning to get you signed up for the faith and fitness group? Or have you changed your mind? You're not going to offend me either way. I just want to make sure I'm serving you the best way I can. I'll be very direct.
Thank you.
Sometimes when someone ghosts me, like, and goes completely MIA after we've had a conversation, like where we've talked about goals and stuff, like after the fact, and they kind of go disappear. I mean, I will be really direct and I'll just say something like, hey, Suzanne, you know, I so appreciate you sharing your heart and so excited to help you where you're at. I feel like something's holding you back. Maybe it's some fears. Maybe it's, you know, something. I know I've shared kind of all the info with you. What is your pain point? And I will just directly ask that. And I feel comfortable saying something like that after I've really taken the time to hear them and to hear their, I would not say that to someone that I didn't have a conversation with, but once they've really kind of opened up, if they have and felt comfortable doing that, then I know that something else popped up. Maybe it's a fear, maybe it's, I don't know. So it gives them a chance to say, and honestly, 90% of the time they have so much self-doubt. They're like, I don't want to start something that I'm not going to complete, or I'm, you know, I'm so, life is going to hit. And that gives me a chance to say, you know what, life, like, who expected 2020 to happen, right? Like, this was supposed to be the year of good stuff. I was like, life is always going to hit. So let's just take one baby step at a time. Maybe we just start you with your nutrition, like, and it allows me to kind of break it down for them and help them feel like they're not going to be a failure if they miss one workout, or like so many people just get in their head about stuff. So I think being really honest and straightforward is always your best option, especially if you've had those conversations, because then it doesn't sound salesy. It sounds like you care, because you do, you know?
That was kind of my questions with the follow-ups. I have a few people that were like really interested in what I was doing, and they seemed really positive and energetic, and they're like, yes, I want to know more. And I would ask them questions, and they would even answer the questions. And like you said, at some point they just stopped responding, or they would respond to, you know, if I liked you know, a scripture that they put in their Instagram story or something, they would respond to that and be like, oh, thanks, he's so good, isn't he? But they wouldn't respond back to the fitness things, just kind of like she was saying. So my question is whenever they originally showed so much interest, and now we haven't talked for a while, but I know she's still watching me, what is, I haven't presented all of the, like, here's what you get with the challenge pack, but more so just asking her some goals, and she started to share them with me and then just stopped talking about it altogether. Is what is the best way to kind of rekindle that conversation, and do it in a positive light? But it's, I mean, is it weird to just, I mean, I guess I always go with just be honest, like speak the truth in love, you know? Like,
Yeah.
so
If it were me, and I mean, I don't know if anyone else has other feedback, if it were me and she's still watching my stuff, and again, it really ties all back into the consistency. It's like all like this, right? So it's the consistency on my social media. So she's still watching my stuff, and right now I am heavily promoting MBF because I'm so excited to start it. Like, it's killing me. And so I'm just talking about that. So I'd say, like, hey, I know we were chatting before. You've probably seen me. I'm getting my Muscle Burn Fat group all set up for starting the beginning of August. I'm so excited about that. Would now be a better time for you? Because she has then seen me talking about my group, right? She's watching my stuff. So I feel like it almost opens the door because we've already had that conversation and she's seeing what I'm doing. So I can be like, hey, let's come back to this. Like, are you ready now? So that's what I would do. I don't know, Rachel, you would do something different.
is it weird to be like, hey, I see that you're still watching me, like, you know?
But I
Okay.
do.
Okay.
Yeah. That was what I was going to say. Those people who ghost you and they're still watching my story. And this is where content is important, because if you're not promoting a challenge group all the time or the coaching opportunity, and I'm not saying like your feed is all, but like every day you should have something in your stories about your challenge group and or the coaching opportunity. You just have to. If you don't, then you're probably not hitting Success Club. So like every day, like these people who ghosted me are still watching. So like they're watching the stories I made about the challenge group. I hit that little arrow beside their face, their name, from my stories, and I say, hey, you know, I see you're still watching. Are you ready to jump in? That's it. I just, you know, and sometimes they ignore it. That's okay. If they keep watching, I'm gonna keep inviting them and follow it up.
Okay, and I have one more question. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to take up everyone's
No.
time, but my last question is I know Muscle Burns Fat is coming out, which I'm super excited about too. I know they're kind of releasing it in like a couple different launch styles, but I have a bunch of girls, like five or six maybe, that want to do bar blend. Like that's the one that they want to do. So should I try to run one for Muscle Burns Fat and one for bar blend, or should I just do the bar blend, and if anyone expresses interest in Muscle Burns Fat, like add them to your group, or because I feel like I still need to be their coach, but I'm just not really sure what to promote.
What are you going to do?
I think I'm going to do bar blend with them.
Okay, then if you want to do bar blend and that's what you want to promote and that's what your girls are excited about, then do that.
Okay.
If you're excited about Muscle Burns Fat and that's what you want to do, talk about it, and then just have either do like a general group or make one, or you could do 2 different groups or something like that.
Okay.
No right or wrong. I have girls doing all sorts of programs that I'm not doing, but I can still coach them and be a part of that.
I just didn't know if it was really important to jump on this. I mean, I know how important a launch is for a program, so I didn't, and I am excited about it. Just the timing right now with being postpartum and stuff. I did half of the bar blend when it came out, just on my own, not in a challenge group. Yeah. And it like really helped with my posture and getting me back into muscle building mode after, getting all my muscles back together. So
I think, Jess, I would own where you are, because what you are excited about, what your season of life is what is going to resonate with your people. And I think and I think especially because they're releasing the prenatal postpartum part of bar blend in a couple weeks here, I'm so excited about that. So you can add that in, and maybe you do a new and expecting mamas group, and that's like what you promote.
I think I missed that. Where is the information about that at?
It all came out at Summit. So the Coach Breaking News to FAQs, it's in there.
Okay.
Is going to be if she's not already, was in the Beachbody Champions page talking about it. So that it's all coming on to Beachbody On Demand August 3rd. But if you go back and listen to the Summit stuff, she shares about it. It's going to be amazing. Trimester specific. It's really cool. So anyways, if that's where your heart is, do that. Maybe make sure your customers know about Muscle Burns Fat. Send it in the emails, but that's not what you're actively promoting in the front. Okay. Like I just excited about. Does that make sense? I don't know, Rachel, am I bad advice?
Oh no, that's perfect.
I think launches though, I will say this, like leaning into launches is where my business has exploded, because it's something new, it's something fun. I personally am like Muscle Burns Fat is my type of workout. I love that kind of thing. So I'm excited about it. But you, Jess, I know for you, like you're making a comeback into coaching. And so bar blend is new for your audience because they didn't see you do it back in the fall and stuff like that. So that is new for them. And that almost is like a launch for you,
Yeah, well, and I have a lot of new moms following me right now that are like, hey, I really want to get fit again. But they're like, is there anything for me to do? And so I'm really excited that they're going to be offering.
What I would recommend though, honestly, is if you're signing people up, I would still recommend the Muscle Burns Fat Challenge Pack, specifically because of the nutrition component right now, because they get both.
Yes, right.
If they're not going to do Muscle Burns Fat, that's fine. They'll just sit there on their on-demand, but it will save a lot of money and have, especially if they're postpartum, there's so much good stuff on breastfeeding in there and things like that for them, that I would do that challenge pack for them. Because get it, it's in the library.
Yeah, I think you got to be excited about what you're doing, and if you're not excited about it, you're not going to sell it, so I think that's totally good, Jessica.
Your hand is raised. I see that. Do you have a question? Oh, look at that sweet baby. Let me unmute you. I don't know if it's like not doing it. Can you hit unmute on your end? On your little microphone?
Oh, sorry, duh. This is Madison.
Hi, Madison.
But I just was wondering, like, if you guys had any advice on, I do better with a routine. I don't do good if I don't really have time scheduled out to sit down and do the things I want to do. And if I'm coaching, I want to make sure that I'm there for whoever I'm trying to support. So I don't want to ever have them feel like I'm not available. But I also want to have that balance and boundaries with my clients and not having to respond at 3 a.m. or, that kind of stuff.
Rachel, you should take this. I feel like you shine at your time management.
Oh, whoa, time management.
Or I can take it too. I just feel like you do such a good
job. I'm not really that great. I've tried. So I'm sorry, I didn't hear the whole question. What did she say?
She was saying that or you want to repeat it?
Yeah, just finding a balance when you have your clients. I want to be able to support whoever I have, following me, but at the same time, I want to be able to set boundaries and not feel like I have to respond at 3 a.m. if they're.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, sorry. I was totally that girl for like the first year. I was always like, oh, I have to respond now or they're going to run away, which in reality, they're not. Like what I would do, Erin, if you are worried about that, on your stories, like I would say, okay, I'm sitting down to work and answer messages. And then, at the end of the day, or like sometimes on Saturday, I'll be like, okay, I'm deleting Instagram tomorrow. If you message me, I'll get back to you on Monday. Just make your expectations clear to the people in your life. And that's your followers, your team, your challengers. Most people know that if you message me on a Sunday, I'm not in my inbox. Like I'm not in my emails. I'm waiting for Monday to get back to those. And so like today I actually have had a ton of messages, and I'm gonna make a story that shows a picture of my empty inbox, and just say, okay, I think I messaged everybody back. Thanks for being patient with me. Like I always try to answer your messages within 24 hours. Just create that expectation often, like share it often. I think that's
okay. I will say like with babies, because I started this business when my son was 1, and then we've had another one since, so it's really hard. And I don't know what your kiddo's like, but Paisley, love her to death, super hard baby, super hard toddler, didn't ever sleep. So I felt like I couldn't ever have a set schedule because it just changed every day depending on if my eyeballs felt like they were going to fall out of my head or not. And so for me, what I would do is I would just always tell my girls, I'm like, hey, please always message me. I see them, I will respond to them, but when I can. So know that I'm not ignoring you. And I would just set that example, like, please post in the group if you have questions. With my new coaches, I'd be like, please, you can totally text me or message me privately, but like I have my new coach chat for that reason. So I would just give them like the expectation, like I see it, I will respond to you. And then I would do like time blocking. And so I would write down an immediate project, but something along the lines of, hey, from 6 to 7, I'm going to respond to these, and then I'll do kid stuff. And then during her nap, these are the specific things I have to get done. And then during bedtime. And so like I do all my challenger check-ins at night. I'm not in my challenge group during the day. I just don't have the capacity for that. But I do have the capacity to sit down at night when, the kiddos are in bed, and I'll scroll through and I'll comment and engage on that stuff. And so just kind of give yourself the grace of maybe even a loose schedule that's not perfect and fluid. And then like those expectations, like Rachel said, of, within 24 hours, here's when I'm working. So I think if you respond instantly, you train people to think that you will respond instantly. So sometimes I do even sit for a few minutes, if that makes sense. Like I don't want them to see me responding at midnight, even if I saw the message. They can wait till 7 a.m. I don't know if that helps.
That helps, because right now, in this situation, I'm just trying to get something done.
Yep. No,
So, yeah.
That's my life. I feel it's hard. So yeah, I don't know. Rachel has this beautiful planner, and I try it every week and it never works, but this is how I run my business. I have this little scratch paper on my counter. This was a list of stuff that I wanted to get done in my nap time hustle. It's taken me a week because my kids, that's just the reality. But I literally have this sitting on my counter, and I just cross it off, and it's prioritized. It makes sense to me. It's messy to everyone else, but I have kind of columns for house and kids and business. And I just sit here. So then whenever I walk by, I'm like, okay, I have 5 minutes. Boom, here we do this. I'm going to take an extra long bathroom break, and my kids are going to bang down the door stuffing toys under it, but I'm going to send a message. And so this is how I run my business. It's nothing fancy. If that makes you feel better. It's a hot mess, but it works.
The other thing too, if I can jump in really fast, sorry, I'm driving or I turn on my video, but Erin, I am here to support you too. So if you when the time comes that you are running a challenge group and you do have clients, just know that like you can add me into there too, and I can help support your first couple of challenge groups as well. You're never in this alone, and I just want to make sure that you know that you have that support.
And Megan's in the 2 Under 2 life, so she gets it.
Yeah, honestly, Megan, I love you, and you inspired me to just, even admit that I wasn't doing all I could do for my own health. So I don't know, just thank you. And my mom hormones are going to make me emotional, so I'll mute myself.
Oh, I love that. Guys,
We love the mom hormones.
we love, I'm seriously, I'm about all the hormones right now. It's a disaster. My poor husband.
All right. Anybody else have questions? I know Jenny's at work, and I think Sonia probably is too, but you guys can type if you have questions for us. If not, I know my girls, we were going to talk afterwards. We can, if you can, we're going to hop on another link. I'll share it in our Emerald Pod, okay? But this is good. Abby, that was really good. Does this make you guys a little bit more confident? Like, do you feel better? Did we help you with things?
Like, we love hearing you guys tell us your problem, not your problem, but like this is, and it's honestly helpful for every other coach too, because people struggle with, like, I know Jess has a new, like, Clarity won't nap unless she's on her. So I know she totally relates to Erin. Like, it's that whole thing where it's, yeah. So you guys are great. We will share the recording. I will share those slides in just a few minutes in the page. And then as you guys have questions this week, please post either in your New Coach Pods or in our New Coach Mentorship group, like a screenshot of like, help, what do I say next? Or anything like that. That's what we're here for. So please utilize us, and then just go rock this week, guys. And we'll see you soon, okay? Anything else before we go? You're all good. Everyone loves, oh, photo. Yeah, do you want a photo? We can do a photo. If you can show your beautiful face, do so. Otherwise, we'll tag you. I can take one.
Really need a shower.
I do too.
Feel that.
I actually skipped my workout yesterday.
Ah!
I'm on my period. I had the worst cramps ever.
Oh, I know you said that. I'm sorry.
It's not, like, sometimes I push through and I was like, no. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. 1, 2.
Oh, good, Sonia. Oh, are we down? I thought we took the picture. Sorry.
You already, oh, wait, I think Jen's gonna, it just you, I'll wait till Jen pops on. Sorry. Coach, #Coach Life.
Extra.
I'm always nervous that, like, I'm going to get hit by a car and have to go to the hospital and someone will open my phone and I'll look like the world's biggest narcissist, because it'll be like, and like a million pictures of me.
I've never thought about that. That's hilarious.
That's where my brain goes. Okay. All right. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Erin, smile. Okay. Gotcha. Oh, you guys are so cute. Okay. I'll share this in the New Coach Mentorship group. I'll just drop this photo in the group and tag you guys, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll see you guys next week. Okay. Bye.